Hello, everybody. My name is Chuck Quo, and this is my final presentation. So let's just go ahead, hop right in here. Um, in my opinion, climate change is systemic, anthropomorphic, and irreversible, in that it's a very complicated problem. It's definitely caused by humans, and that we are far past the point where we can turn back the clock on this thing. We're past 350 ppm of CO2 in the atmosphere, and right now it's about mitigating, slowing our descent. Now, our solutions must be systemic. Complicated problems need complicated solutions. They need to be utilitarian. It needs to do the most good for the most people. And our solutions have to be based in science. They can't be based in what sounds good to a politician or based on compromise. We need to take unilateral action to get where we need to go. So the first part of my personal plan is to be a better neighbor. McKibben would say that we need to make our world smaller and build our communities, while Molo Beta would say that we need to love one another. And, this could be just saying hi, helping someone with groceries, smiling, opening the door, because when someone sees another person being neighborly, they might think, hey, that was a really kind thing to do. Maybe I should be more like this. And I think for us to move forward in the scope of climate change, we have to be able to think like this, right? We want to be able to help people that we might not have any value in helping, but just purely as being a neighbor, being in a community. The second part of my personal plan is to buy less and use less. McKibben, Molo Beta, Blood in the Mobile, and in the Story of Stuff, we really see how much crap we have, and how corporate interests typically have a negative impact on the marginalized people around the globe. I know I'm guilty of buying stuff I don't need. I know I use too much. That's something that needs to change. It's something that I've become more aware of since the class has begun. I've done most of my shopping at Goodwill. I keep all my spaghetti jars to use as party cups instead of buying the red ones. I think it saves me money, A, but B, it also reduces the demand for goods at a very individual level. Like Molo Beta would say, acting at the individual level is sometimes all we've got, and so you might as well do it. The third part of my personal plan is to shop at farmers markets. I haven't been to a farmers market since I moved here about a year ago. It's something that was really easy for me to do back in Santa Barbara, but I haven't found one here yet, so if anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. But Washington State is one of the most bountiful states in all of America. Why am I going to QFC and buying imported avocados from Mexico when also they come from California? It's something that I want to do. I want to go to farmers markets. I want to eat what's in season. I want to subsidize the livelihoods of these farmers. And I mean, there's a secondary impact of making your world smaller, like McKibben would say, and we burn less fossil fuels in transporting these goods around. So my pet policy is not going to be environmentally geared. It's about education. I will always champion education bills, from giving more funding to K through 12 programs, to decreasing the cost of college educations, to maybe increasing the emphasis on environmental studies, or even philosophy and humanities in a K through 12 education. I think these are all really salient decisions for us to make as a society and a smaller community. Because an educated public is one that can make good decisions. I've been lucky enough to be in great schools my entire life, and I don't even want to think about what my life would be like without these schools. By educating the population, we get voters and citizens who are aware of climate change, its severity, its causes, its potential solutions, and these people who have been educated are more equipped to navigate climate change. And these people are more equipped to navigate it at an individual level and at a societal level. Most of the people that you'll talk to who are against finding solutions for climate change are probably not very educated. And so this is something that I think if we don't have an educated society, we might not be able to move towards a solution to this problem. So I want to talk to you guys about Tesla, a company that is doing what I think is most interesting in the field of engineering. I'm a computer scientist, but Tesla's work encompasses mechanical, electrical, civil engineering, as well as computer science. So what has Tesla done in the last few years? You might have seen their cars on the road. They originally started with the Tesla Sport, which is really just a Lotus Esprit with a bunch of batteries strapped to it. There's the Tesla Model S, Tesla Model X, and the upcoming Tesla Model 3, which I am most excited about. They've created a supercharger network so that you can charge your electric car and you can drive from San Francisco to New York, no problem. And they've created self-driving artificial intelligence that they put in this car, which increases the efficiency on the roads. There's already a lot of wasted energy coming from us humans. We slam on the brakes, we accelerate too fast, we get into accidents. All these sorts of things could be really avoided with self-driving cars. The philosophy of that is something that we don't have time to get into here. But something else they've done is also the solar roof, which is a beautiful, sexy way to go green, as well as the battery storage pack that comes with it. Now, Tesla's mission statement is to bring about the advent of compelling electric cars so that the average American would want to drive one. And they knew that they couldn't do that with the first car that they made, right? So the Tesla Sport is a two-seater, I believe it's mid-engined sports car, which is just something that the average Joe is never going to buy. But the reason that they started there is because they needed to make the mistakes, they needed to research and develop, they needed to get the economies of scale to the point that they could produce more cars for more people, right? And so the Model S, way too expensive for all of us to drive. Model X, same thing, luxury features, leathers, gull-wing doors. But what we have now is the Model 3, which is affordable. It's at the same price point as about a BMW 3 Series. They are apparently selling these at very minimal profit because they kept a bunch of money from the Sport, the X, and the X to build these huge factories where they can make these threes relatively cheaply, and so that Americans can drive these electric cars that are both fun, sexy, and nice to look at. And we really need to look at Tesla as a model for how business can be good for the environment in the future. They had a vision, and they had a really big picture, but they knew how they were going to get it, and it took years, but they got there. And so for me, moving forward, if I get a job with a company, that's something that I want to keep in mind is, what is our product going to look like in 10 years? How is that going to affect the environment? How is it going to affect the people around us? And what are our goals, and how are we going to get there? And I think a lot of people are thinking, what's happening in 6 months? What's happening in a year? Which is valid, but we're really losing track of the big picture. And so that's something that Tesla is really good at doing, and something that makes Elon Musk one of my personal heroes. From taking this class, I've gotten the idea that it's not really proper for someone who has an appreciation of the issue of climate change and has potentially the tools to do something about it to not. There's a large part of me that just thinks I'm just going to get a developer job, sit down, program what I'm told. But there's also a part of me that is really interested in what artificial intelligence has to offer in terms of food security and sustainability. So over here on the left, we have Microsoft AI for Earth. Microsoft this year actually came out with the idea that they're going to give a lot of funding to people who are going to use AI projects to create a more sustainable world. Over here on the right, we have a farm bot where someone has actually built this robot where it can take care of your farm for you, and you can control everything on the computer, which got me to thinking that it'd be pretty probable to write an artificial intelligence that could run your farm for you. Now imagine someone who might not know anything about farming but really wants to do that. We could get young people to go out and farm if we give them the tools to help them succeed. This artificial intelligence could take data from all sorts of previous agriculture seasons and put it into a product where you can know what to grow where, to minimize your pesticide usage, to maximize your yield, and to keep your fields fresh for years to come. This AI program could even go further and help you create a closed-loop farm, which would be just such a beautiful thing to see in this world. And I think the power of AI, the power of the Internet of Things, and the fact that industry is leaning towards programs like AI for Earth look good for the future of sustainability and computer science. And that's something I'm really interested in pursuing moving forward. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.